Good morning, YouTube. It's the Old Soldier coming at you from Robinson County, North Carolina. As you can see, I'm back in the old truck. Got to take Mrs. Old Soldier for a checkup. We've got to go to Lowe's Home Improvement and get some stuff to fix a few things around the house. It's the first time I've been to Lowe's since the beginning of this pandemic. See if they've changed their policies any as to who and what and how and why. Anyway, the federal government has started issuing the so-called economic stimulus checks, and I've been watching people make comments left and right from both sides of the aisle, to the people in the middle, to all ends of the spectrum. Apparently several of the Democrats aren't happy because, I don't know, they're never happy when they don't get to spend the money, I guess. I've watched a lot of comments from the libertarian friends that, you know, bottom line, folks, I'm not crazy about the expenditure of that kind of money. That we're going to have to pass the buck on to our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren to pay off the debt. At the same token, however, I get the purpose behind it and what it's supposed to do. I can't really say I'm for or against. I would tell you, if you're against it and you get a check, send it back. If you're for it, you know, make sure you spend it on stuff you need, not frivolously. And try to support your local economy as much as you can with it. I'm not going to sit there and argue the pros and cons with anybody about this, as I'm kind of like in the middle with it. Call it personal experience, personal situation, I don't know. But I've seen some of the stuff that's going on in Michigan. You know, they're trying to recall the governor there. You've got 4 sheriffs in the state of Michigan that states that they won't abide by her stay-at-home executive order any longer. You know, and earlier this week here in North Carolina, you had small business owners protesting the governor and his stay-at-home orders. I've been watching a lot of comments on social media from people about going back to work. You know, you got the crowd that says, if you're wanting to go back to work so bad, you're selfish because you might spread the virus and more people could die. You know, they're plausible. To say that individual's selfish, though, I disagree with. When you've got bills to pay and children to feed, there's that need to work. You know, me and Mrs. Old Soldier, we're all right. You know, I've got my VA payment, I got my military retired pay, I got my stipend from my school salary. You know, we'll get by. But there are people that are newlywed couples that have 1 or 2 small youngins at home. Yeah, granted, they get $500 additional for each head, but at the end of the day, that's $3,100 for a family of 4 right now. $3,100, believe it or not, folks, does not go as far as people think that it might. Just saying. So before you call somebody selfish, put yourself in their shoes. Now, do I believe this virus can be deadly? Yes. Do I believe it is spread like wildfire? Maybe. As I elaborated to in my video yesterday, I think there's more that's going on than meets the eye. I think there are things that we're not being told, whether it's from the deep state or the real government, or just, you know, whatever the case may be. There's a lot out there that's left to be seen on this thing before it's all going to be said and done in the end. But at some point in time, we're going to have to get back into a normal routine of living, folks. You know, during my mom and dad's time growing up, elaborating earlier videos about this, they grew up with the polio virus. But the people back then couldn't let them stop what they had to do in order to provide for their families. Now, mind you, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, they didn't have the social media that we have today. But still, people had to get out and do business and commerce. There was exposure. There was people that, you know, contracted it because of what they did, especially the bigger cities. But to lock everybody down, if you want to use that term, quarantine, stay at home order, whatever you want to call it, and keep extending it, all you're doing is prolonging certain things. I'm no doctor, I'm no scientific expert on this thing, folks, but I think that we've got to stop living in fear of this and move forward. Now, I don't have all the solutions, and again, I'm not out here trying to tell people what they ought to and ought not to. You got to, but you know, there's confusion. You know, there's also the confusion. You know, people tell you stay at home, but if you have to get out, go. Okay. You know, take it from me. You know, people that went to high school where my wife went to would be real confused with that one. She's shaking her head. Didn't even know what I just said. You know, it's a jab at where she went to high school. I tease her because I married a girl from the other side of the river. But no, and that, speaking of that, side note, just pray for that part of Tennessee where my wife grew up. That if you watch the news where those tornadoes went through East Chattanooga, or East Brainerd is what they call it, my wife grew up in that area. Several of her friends and some of her family have been affected by it. My best friend too. You remember him? He lives on the other side, but his house got flooded with all the rain that came through.
I don't know about else.
But the neighborhood she grew up in, she's not 100% sure, but watching the videos of the area, East Brainerd, which is a suburb of Chattanooga, it was heavily damaged and devastated, folks. So just pray for that, because, you know, on top of that, you know, these people are having to contend with coronavirus too, just like everybody else. So now you got people without homes. Where are they going to stay?
They're without power.
Without power, and like I said, the people with homes that are destroyed. You know, with the social distancing, you can't really, under current orders and whatnot, you can't really put them in a shelter. You know, like they used to do in the past. You know, the church would open its doors, or a school gymnasium, because of social distancing. So I don't know how they're going to house all these now homeless people until the insurance companies get in there and do what they've got to do. But again, if you would, just pray for those folks. Like I said, my best friend's house got flooded. Didn't get into the house, but it flooded his garage. It flooded his crawl space. He's worried about the FEMA flood insurance that he had to buy, telling him that they're not going to cover any of his damages. I don't know much about that flood insurance from FEMA, other than what I've been told, that it's hit or miss when you get it, so I don't know. But yeah. But these are all the things people have got to contend with right now, folks. But we just got to stop living in fear. Hopefully, they'll find a treatment or a vaccine that's the other thing. People are talking about vaccines and microchipping, and okay, I get it. Now, the microchip piece, I've only seen oddball articles on that. But as far as a vaccine goes, and I know there's people out there that don't believe in vaccines, but maybe I'm the exception to the rule on this one with this crowd, but there are certain vaccines I think that we get, they work. You know, maybe this one, we're going to need one. But the other one too is all this talk about the use of hydroxychloroquine. You know, there's a lot of criticism on the president about even suggesting that. But yeah, yesterday or the day before, they had a state senator from Michigan, who was a Democrat, that was at the White House with other people that had survived the virus. You know, a little meet they had for that. And she just, you know, genuinely and sincerely thanked the president. And from what I understand, people in her home party are ridiculing her for that because the doctors that she went to, because of what the president recommended with hydroxychloroquine, it helped to save her life. Now, is that a cure-all for this thing? They're saying it's not, but if it is helping in the treatment and reducing the amount of time the virus is active in one's body, we need to explore it. Well, what about the side effects, folks? Hydroxychloroquine, it's been around for years to treat malaria. So, quit being so paranoid. But anyway, I digress, folks. Pull in here to the doctor's office so Mrs. Old Soldier can get her checkup. Then off to Lowe's, and then from there back to the hacienda, I reckon, folks. But stay safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. You know, follow the protocols of social distancing and wash your hands. I'm not necessarily tell you to go put a mask on or not put a mask on or this, that, or the other, but just take adequate precautions, and we will talk to y'all later. Old Soldier out.